All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Country Inn by Radisson in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is that resort area in central Iowa. I guess it's eastern Iowa, north of Iowa City, that everybody wants to flock to over New Year's when it's 35 degrees, overcast out, and just overall a chilly, windy, not so pleasant place to be at this time of year. So, and I certainly didn't choose to be here hanging out. Just to let you guys know, I got my truck back out of Effingham and got back on the road last weekend and started making my way back to work and got out here to Iowa and my turbo actuator went out. Fortunately, I was only 40 minutes away from MHC Kenworth here in Cedar Rapids, which is really good. I tell you what, those guys, I give it to them. Driver's Lounge has an awesome private shower, free laundry. It's great. So I'm very impressed with these guys. They got on my truck right away yesterday morning, got it diagnosed, got the claim out to NTP right away. The part, I just hung up with them, a gentleman by the name of John at MHC, real nice guy. The parts come in at 10:30. It's currently 5 after 8 a.m. local time. And I would imagine they'll have the truck back up and running this afternoon, and I should be out of here this afternoon, this evening sometime. So it's estimated to be done today, which is great. I get back on the road and get boogieing. Yeah, my truck has plagued me the last couple of months, month and a half. It's been throwing some curveballs at me. But, you know, folks, you have to find the positive in these things. And, you know, is it a fun experience to be down? No, it's not. Does it cost money? Yeah. My truck averages $1,000 a day. So I'm every day I'm down is $1,000 gone. And I was down for 2 weeks over Thanksgiving, if you remember, down in Louisiana. And then I had 3 days in Effingham last week. And then now I'm down for 2 days. So that's 14, 17, 19. That's 19 days I've been down out of the last little over a month and a half. So it certainly doesn't do the bottom line any good. But you find the blessings in these things. Excuse me, I'm battling a little bit of a chest cold and a flu that I had while I was broke down last week. Again, I got to home. I was sick while out here on the road because I was broke down. The blessings, okay? Oakley pays very well. And that's what this is going to be. This is going to be a white paper video. So I'm going to go over some year-end numbers. Luckily, I've had some time to, or unluckily, to go over these and generate some numbers for you guys. So I'm going to give you some year-end totals here. I've got my computer set up, and right now I was just emailing NTP, the warranty company, and the dealership, some information that didn't get passed on to them from the warranty company, but moving on. So you can make enough money at Oakley to get by in these situations. And the other thing that I'm grateful for is that NTP has actually covered a very large portion of my repairs. I tell you, it's awesome. Last week, it was my EGR valve. If you guys have never priced an EGR valve, now that's a pricey little booger. $3,300, I believe it was, for the EGR valve. Okay, it's expensive. And by the time they had labor, all their BS charges that everyone charges and everything else, that bill was like $5,000 for that EGR valve. And my bill was $664. So, you know, I could sit here and get all ticked off and be like, you know, why is this happening to me? This is it. I'm thankful that I have this warranty. And this is something that I recommend to all of you men, and especially all of you men that reach out to me, that want information, that request information. And by the way, for all of you that have reached out, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And for those of you that have allowed me to submit you as a referral, thank you very much. I genuinely appreciate it, because at times like this, it's those referrals that are helping me get by and survive these downtimes, okay, financially. So I really do appreciate you all. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit that like button if you like what I'm putting out, if you find value in these videos. And again, if you're interested in Bruce Oakley and you want information about Bruce Oakley, don't hesitate to reach out, jimmysroadlyfe, Lyfe, at gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help you out, okay? Just a note to you guys, some of you guys email wanting information. Guys, I don't have time to generate a 55 paragraph email. I'm going to ask you to send me your phone number, and I'm going to do that privately in an email. I'm not going to do that on a YouTube comment, okay? So if you email me, send me your number so I can give you a phone call. I would prefer to have that personal chat and talk to you. So it makes it easier, and it's easier to relay information, and then you can ask questions, I can answer, and we can just relay experiences, and then you get a good feel for what's going on. So I'll just let you know that up front. All right, if you want information on Oakley, I'm going to want to talk to you, okay? And it's just more personal and allows me to get a better feel for what you're looking for as far as information. And not only that, but sending a lengthy email is very time intensive, okay? That aside, moving on, okay? Today, this video, numbers, year-end numbers. All right, so one of the things that I've been able to do, here is, over the last couple of days, sit down, excuse me again, I'm sorry, deal with me. I had a bad flu last week. When I broke down in Effingham, I got a rental and went home, and everybody in Ohio and across the country is catching this nasty flu bug, and it hit me for a couple of days, and thank God it was only a couple of days. Right now, it's just a little bit of the congestion left over, so if I'm hacking a little bit, please bear with me. We've all been there. Okay. Right now, I'm going to kind of show you guys. I'm going to take my phone and turn it. You might be able to see this. You might not. This is something that you're not going to make heads or tails of, but I can, and I'm going to go off of this. So right here, what I've done is I averaged up or listed all of my monthly mileage totals, my gallons, my miles per gallon, the amount of fuel invest, maintenance cost, blah, 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 blah. That's all listed right here. So that is the information that I am going to go off of here in getting you. Let me get the phone here. There we go. Okay, that's the information that I'm going to go off of with some paper and a pen. It's not a whiteboard, but it's a white paper to give you these totals and this information. So these are directly off of my spreadsheets for the months, and I'll be able to break this down with yearly totals for you guys and kind of give you a good understanding of how I've done in pneumatics this year at Bruce Oakley and overall, and actually even with all of my breakdowns this year. So let me start with that. This year, I started out the year rough. If you followed me, back at the beginning of the year, I was having steering box issues. Was off for some time getting that taken care of in January. And then I ran into some, as always, emissions issues and was down in Memphis and Knoxville getting some sensors replaced. Then in March, I was down for a control valve module. I was down for like 10 days in March getting that squared away. I was down for 5 days, I believe it was July, for a def level sensor. And then I was down in November, okay, or October. I was down for an oil pan replacement and a coolant lines and a water pump. And then in November, I was down for 2 weeks, as I said, for Thanksgiving. That was for a fuel rail pressure valve. That one wasn't covered under warranty, but hey, man, for all the ones that were, I'm grateful. You know, if I only had one that I had to cover the cost on. So I had that. And then obviously I'm down now. So why do I say this? Because I went back through the year, and best way I could figure is I've been off for maintenance for probably about 5 to 6 weeks this year when you add it all up. So keep in mind that you have a 52-week year, that I was off for 5 to 6 weeks there. I don't live to work, I work to live. and I will take the time off that I need to spend with my family. Guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't live for that truck, okay? That truck is what allows me to live, hopefully, if it keeps running, okay? I am going to take my time off with my family. Now, I'm not going to take off excessive time, and I'm not going to be irresponsible, but I'm also not going to live out here on the road and like right now say, hey, look, I'm broke down for 2 days, so, well, there's my time off with my family. I can't come home. I'm not going to see you for 3 months. I'm not doing that crap. My family is important. And my time at home to see them, even though I'm not taking extended time, is very important. And I will take my time. And then I'll get back out and I'll run that truck. And I'm going to be point blank honest with you guys. Some of you may agree with this, some of you don't. Personally, I don't care if you agree with me or not. We're all going to do what we need to do, okay? If it came to the point that I had to live on the road all the time and I could never go home because of the cost of that truck's going bye-bye. That's out of here. And truthfully, I don't care how it goes out of here. Okay, it's not all about money. Life is a lot more than that. And I'm going to tell you guys something, and we've all experienced this. This is unrelated to this, but it does matter. When I worked for Pyle, and we've had this here at Oakley too over the last few years with some men, but when I worked at Pyle, we had 5 men within our terminal in a matter of years, all passed away. We had one man had throat cancer, gone. 2 of the men had glioblastoma. That's the bad brain cancer. They were in their 50s. I'm 54, gone. One gentleman, all I'll say is that his name was Tim, came in one day and told the terminal manager, I'm feeling kind of dizzy. I think I have a flu bug or something. I'm going to go home. So he went home. That man never came back to work. He never got undizzy. Went and had a MRI. Here come to find out he had a glioblastoma. 6 months. He was in the grave. Another man died of E. coli. Ate a bad sandwich. Gone. And then another man, COVID, like many of us experienced. Why do I say that? Not to be morbid, not to be doom and gloom, but you know what? Your time here on this earth is limited. Make sure you're spiritually right with God, in my opinion. And number 2, okay, don't take for granted those things that are very important, like your family, okay? I have a good friend of mine. I served in the military with him for many, 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 many years. His wife was a hospice nurse for a period of time. And she said nobody on their deathbed ever made the statement to her, man, if only I would have worked more. It was everything but that. Okay, God, I wish I would have taken some more time to be with my family. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. And that conversation came about because they also have a boat up on Lake Erie, much nicer than the cheap one I bought, okay? And they said, you know what, it's a cost, but it allows us to spend every weekend together, because they had their son at the time, but he's in the military now too, which is great. You know, years have gone by. And they said, it's an expense, but it's time together where we're able to live. And I thought, man, you know, it's pretty true. You know, you've got to live, people. And then my point to all of that is I'm taking my time off. So I have 6 weeks roughly for maintenance, plus my normal time off that I take. If you remember, I was taking off the first week of every month, and I would be out the second, third, and fourth. And I also did a period of time where I was home every other weekend for 3 days. And that's my schedule now. That's what I want to do now going forward. Home every other weekend for 3 days. Get in Friday, be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, leave out Tuesday morning. So that's what I do. So if you guys in your mind want to kind of picture my schedule and what my year has been like, that's what it's been like. So all total, I would probably say that I worked anywhere from 40 to 42 full weeks between maintenance and time off this year. Okay. So I probably had 10 with maintenance another time, probably 10 to 12 weeks that I was off this year. Okay. So moving on from that, let's get into it. Okay. Before we get into revenue, let's talk about miles. That matters, okay? I'm going to do paid miles first. My paid miles for the year total were 100,250 miles. Can you see that? 100,250 paid miles. My empty miles for the year were 37,128, and my loaded miles for the year were 63,122. Empty, 37,138 or 28, and loaded 63,122. Okay. You guys wonder, whoa, what's your loaded to empty ratio? Well, this is pretty simple. I'm dead on basically 100,000 miles, so that's easy, 100%. So empty to loaded, 63% loaded to 37% empty. There's my ratio. 63-37, okay, or you could say 60-40, whatever you want to say, I don't care. But it's roughly 63% loaded to 37% empty, because that does matter to some guys. That's about what my average has been the entire time I've been at Oakley. Didn't matter whether I was in end dump or pneumatics. My ratio has been 70-30, 60-40, give or take, depending, okay? So that's where that's been. Actual miles, a lot of guys care about that, and I do too, because I want to know how many miles I have driven that I didn't get paid for per se. Remember, when you go home with Oakley, in most cases, you're going home on your dime. So if you get empty 300 miles from the house and you're going home for a period of time, well, that 300 miles is on you. So those miles are going to accumulate, but that's your bill. But what Oakley does, they don't pay you to go to the house when you get empty, but they pay you when you come back out of the house. So hypothetically, let's say that I get empty in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm going home. From Harrisburg back to my city in Ohio, I don't get paid for it. But then let's say that out of home, Jerry is sending me, hypothetically, back to Harrisburg to load for Arkansas. Just use Harrisburg again. I'm going to get paid from my city in Ohio back to Harrisburg, empty, and then on to Arkansas. So that's where the pay picks back up. Okay. So, and then obviously you have your variances and routes and city to city and all that crap. My actual miles were 112,475 for the year. 112,475 miles for the year. And guys, that is straight off my odometer. I went back to my little flip notebook and I went back to January 1st. I'm like, there you have it. And then when I got over here to Brooklyn, Iowa, when I broke down the other day, lucky me. Or actually, it wasn't even that. It was where I was at a couple days ago before I loaded in Illinois. I wrote down my mileage. Well, there it is, year end. Not bad. 112,475. So I had 100,250 paid miles and 12,475 total. So 10 to 12%. Okay, about where it's at, 10 to 12%. So not bad. You're always going to have roughly a 10% difference, and taking into account the fact that you go home on your dime. When you're at Oakley, you know, you got to figure with pneumatics, it's not like end dump where they can get you empty in most cases, a lot closer to the house, especially where, spit this out, depending on where you live. I'm going to have a farther deadhead to get home. Okay, I mean, I've deadheaded home from Baltimore. I've deadheaded home from central Michigan. I deadhead home a lot from Greencastle, Pennsylvania, which is near Harrisburg. You know, you're going to have those distances, 250, 350 miles sometimes to get back to the house. So it's okay. I'm cool with it. I don't mind. All right, again, I'm going to spend time with my family. And if that means I've got a deadhead home, I'm deadheading home. Period. I'm not going to, oh, you know, you can't get me close. I'm going to stay out for another week. I'm not doing that crap. Okay. And truthfully, Oakley doesn't give me a hard time about that. Okay. And I really appreciate that. And also with these breakdowns, I can't control this. Jerry, my dispatcher, he's been great. Jerry, if you watch this, I appreciate it, man. I'm doing the best I can with this. I certainly don't choose this. And I want to make as much money as I can in the time that I'm out here, guys. Okay? So they've been great. Okay? They haven't given me any hassles about anything. And I really appreciate that. They're good people. All right. Now, you guys want to talk about money? Well, let's talk about money. Okay? Actually, no. Well, yeah, let's talk about money. Let's talk about my fuel and DEF expenditures and usages. All right? This year, excuse me, this year, I used a total of 16,776 gallons of fuel. I thought this was interesting. 16,776 gallons of fuel. That came up to, this was very surprising to me. Some of you guys say, well, what's your fuel mileage? Okay, oh, you guys in Pneumatics, you're burning so much more fuel than us and then dumping all this crap. All right, whatever. I don't care. 6.70 mpg for the year. 6.70 mpg. Guys, it's real simple. Okay? All right? 112,475 divided by 16,776. Okay? It's an easy equation. All right? And I didn't even do it. My spreadsheet did it for me. So I was pretty impressed with that. 6.7 for the year, I tell you. And I do use the Pittsburgh Power Fuel Catalyst. I highly recommend that. Okay, I know I've had emissions problems, but it's sensor crap and just BS that's breaking. And that takes me back to something else I want to tell you. The things to be grateful for. NTP is replacing a lot of parts on my truck. I've got a lot of brand new parts and things that should last for a little while. I mean, I've got to go through it now, but it is what it is. But there's something else. I am looking for a new truck. I'm actively in touch with dealers, trying to get out of this truck and get into a brand new one. I don't know if I can because of the value differences right now with the way the market's dropped. If I can, I am. But if I can't, well, we're going to struggle through with this one until the good Lord gives me the opportunity to get another one. It's as simple as that. So anyhow, moving on. But 6.7 mpg. I'm pretty impressed with that. My fuel cost for the year. Now keep in mind with my fuel cost, my DEF cost averages about $200 a month. I pay about $200 a month on average for DEF. And, but this total that I'm going to give you is fuel and DEF combined. So this is my annual total that I spent for fuel and DEF added together. But if you want to take 2,400 off, okay, 200 times 12 months, okay, to kind of, if you want to know what my fuel cost was roughly. But for fuel this year, I paid with fuel and DEF $70,503 annual fuel cost. Okay? $70,503. That was my annual fuel cost for the year. That's right off my spreadsheet. Every time I buy fuel, I go right to my phone, I plug it into Excel, calculates automatically. That's it. I went back through, added it all up. Okay? My maintenance cost for the year. Now, keep in mind, I had some expenditures this year that were one-time, very rare expenditures. Things you would really normally never replace. Like your steering box and all of those things. They're normally only replaced unless you get into an accident. It's very rare that goes out. But remember, back in the beginning of the year, I had to replace all that. So I have listed my months where I had big maintenance. And that's some big ones. Okay? In January, I had $6,886 in maintenance to start the year. And that was right after I came into Pneumatics. I'm like, son of a biscuit, man. So keep in mind, I've got some that, it's just some big ticket items here that you normally wouldn't do. And then I also had new drive tires I just put on back at the end of October. Okay, so I had 4,000 in drive tires. and then roughly 4 to 5 grand at least in the steering crap that I had to deal with at the beginning of the year. And you know all that was? It was an airlock in my line. Didn't make you mad sometimes, but hey, you know what? The components are new. Peace of mind. It is what it is. So when it's all said and done, I probably have about $8,000 to $9,000 at least in those anomaly fixes. So I don't really view this as an average typical year for maintenance. But nonetheless, my total annual maintenance cost for the year was $33,321. And that was my annual maintenance cost. $33,321 annual maintenance cost. All right. Is what it is. Let's see. Oakley's expenses are $186 a week. That's what I pay. That's base plate, insurance, all that stuff. Okay, that comes up to basically $9,600 a year, $10,000 a year. And then for taxes, I take out $2,000 a month. $24,000 a year is what I set aside. This is the first year I'm really going to calculate taxes. I've done some rough numbers. My tax bill is more than likely going to be a heck of a lot lower than that with all of these expenditures this year. Because I'm going to tell you guys, I track everything. You have to. I don't know why you guys just want to give the government money. Track all of your expenses and take advantage of everything. Everything that you can. You need to. So, but I take out $24,000 a year for taxes. And then whatever's left at the end of the year, well, hey, I just move to the next year or goes into something that I might need done for the truck or whatever. Okay. So that's about where I'm at there. All right. Now, you guys want to talk about what'd you make, Jim? That's what you spent. What'd you make? Okay. My gross revenue for the year was $311,031. That's what I made. Gross. Okay. $311,031. Something I didn't break down, and I'm not going to go back through every settlement right now and try to figure out where these were. I said at the very beginning that those of you that reached out to me for a reference, I genuinely appreciate you. That really helped me out this year. Okay. I had a few references this year, 3 or 4, if memory serves me. Okay. And I really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Honest to God, you genuinely helped me and my family, especially at times like this where I'm down, and that really offset some of this. Okay. I'd mentioned to you guys that every day that I'm down is $1,000. Okay. I've been down for about 6 weeks roughly total this year already, probably at least 40 days. All right. At least probably 40 plus days. Well, guys, that's 40 grand at $1,000 a day that I'm down. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not make $40,000 in bonuses. Okay. So the way I kind of viewed it as far as these totals, and I'm not being misleading. I'm not telling you anything that isn't as straight can be. My gross total, I'm not subtracting bonuses, but I'm also taking into account that they don't even come close to accounting for the amount of downtime that I had. So even if I had a fraction of the downtime, it's going to be more than this. I would have actually expected that I would have made probably close to $330,000 gross to the truck had I not had all of this downtime. I had 100,000 miles this year. The average Pneumatics driver is roughly 120,000 miles paid each year. That means I've lost 20,000 miles. Okay, you do the math on that, guys. That's almost 2 months worth of driving. That's a lot of money. Okay, it is. So keep in mind that yes, I have bonuses that's in this 311,000, but it isn't anything close to the amount of revenue that I've lost due to downtime and maintenance. Like right now, sitting in this hotel, $2K gone this week. Plus I'm going to spend probably 600 out of pocket on this repair, but that's fine. I'm thankful because it's probably going to be about $2,000 when it's all said and done. So NTP will pay $2,000, I'll pay 600. All right, I consider that fair. I'm out, but I lost 2,000. That's a $2,600 swing in income just these last couple of days. Moving on. I don't want to belabor that point. Okay, but in the interest of full transparency, this $311,000 includes any recruiting bonuses that I had, but they didn't come close to the amount of revenue that I've lost for downtime. So I'm not drawing a distinction. It's just gross revenue. My net revenue for the year, and this is right off of my last settlement sheet, and I'm not going to put it up on the screen, guys. If you trust me, you trust me. If you don't, you don't. It's as simple as that. I'm not a freaking liar, okay? It is what it is. These numbers are right off my spreadsheet. I'm not going to go and put it up, prove it, Jim. If you're that guy and you're watching this video and you don't believe what I'm telling you unless I put it up for you to see it, then don't watch my videos. I'm not a liar. I'm a straight up guy. And if you're going to be that guy, I don't really want you watching my videos anyhow. Enough said. I'm not in a bad mood, but I don't like those critical people like that. I said this a long time ago. If you're just being critical to be critical, man, get the hell out of my life. Get out of our life. Just go do what you have to do on your own, okay? You people that are like that, you're a cancer. All you do is find fault and negativity in things, and you bring no value to the table. If you're going to be critical in a substantive way and find some kind of a solution or provide some kind of a result that may help. But most of you don't. All you do is just bitch and piss and moan and find fault or this or that or just nitpick. I don't have time for it. I don't care. If you put that in the comment of a video, truthfully, I just pay it no, never mind. Okay? Don't be that way. Don't be that way with me. Don't be that way with other people. But if you're going to be that way about my numbers, again, like, well, you didn't even put up a spreadsheet or you didn't put up your last settlement. How do I know that's true? Piss off. That's how you know it's true. Because I don't really care what you think. I don't lie. This is straight. Moving on. Let me get off my soapbox. My net revenue for the year is $225,538 net. $225,538 net. I'm very grateful for that. Even with all of the breakdowns. Again, I told you guys, I've been off for quite a bit this year. I still made over $300K to the truck on 100,000 paid miles. A few bonuses, not a lot, but yes. Thank you, men. Thank you. I appreciate you. And 225,000 net. Now, it's real easy to do. Okay? My overall mileage, okay? And I did this off of my total miles. I did it two different ways. My gross per mile off of all miles, which again was 112,000. That's odometer miles. My gross per mile was $2.77. And my net per mile, again, all miles, 112,000, was $2.01 per mile. And I've said in previous videos that I make roughly $2.02 a mile. This average has held true for me all the way through. My net is roughly $2.02. Well, here it is now, $2.01. Woo, I'm off by a penny at the end of the year. Okay? $2.77 to $2.01 per mile. Your fuel mileage comes into account for that, things of that nature. Okay, again, I'm getting 6.7. I don't run 60 miles an hour, guys. Okay, I run 70, 71, 72 miles an hour. Okay, sometimes if it's 75 speed limit, I'm going to bump it up a little bit. Okay, I should probably scale that back. I could get the truck to 7 mpg if I scaled back some, but what I do is I balance the time that I'm losing, the miles that I would lose based on the fuel that I would save. And I find that even if you just run between 68 and 72 miles an hour, you're going to make about the same. The savings in fuel is negligible compared to the amount of miles that you're going to lose over time because everything is cumulative. So if I give up, I'll just do some quick numbers for you here. If you give up 5 miles per hour over a 10-hour day, that's 50 miles. Okay, you give up 50 miles that day. Well, if that's 50 miles, you could have got ahead the next day. That's 100. Okay, and let's say, just say at the end of the week, between, getting an extra load and getting going and getting delivered and getting a few hundred miles ahead, let's say it was 300 miles. Okay, let's just say it ended up being, 200, let's say 200 miles for the whole week is what you could have gained. You could have got an extra paid 200 miles had you done 70 instead of 65. Well, again, at 277 gross, or even 201, it's easier to figure that out. That's $400. Okay, well, it cost me about $400 to fill up my tank. Over the period of a week, guys, I'm not going to save a full fill up in fuel by doing 65. So I'm going to make more money doing the speed limit because I'm going to generate more revenue because I'm going to get more miles in than I will in the fuel savings. Okay, that's where you have to kind of balance that. Okay, is the slower speed, yeah, it's less wear and tear on your tires and all that, but 70 to 65 ain't that much of a difference. Now, if you're doing 55 compared to 70, yeah, that's pretty huge. But I mean, God, man, you're going to get run over. You like Prime Incorporated out there doing 62 on the highway. It's like, man, you're going to get plowed into. I don't want to be that guy. Oakley, get out of the way. Moving on. So keep in mind that savings is negligible. So I offset the two. And anyhow, so I'm at 277 gross for all miles and 201 net for all miles. But I did something else. I figured out, okay, well, where would I end up just on paid miles? How did that balance out? And I'll just write this off to the side. If I was just balancing my incomes off of my paid Oakley miles, that is $3.10 loaded and gross, and $2.25 per mile net. So that's what it would have came up to there, 310 and 225. But off of actual miles, 112,000, it's 277 and 201. Okay. Something else to note for you. My loaded miles for the year were 63,122. I receive next year to be 11 cents a mile bonus. So off of those loaded miles equals 63122 times 0.11 equals. So my bonus next year for Oakley, now it's going to be different because my anniversary is in August, but let's just say we were doing calendar year, would be $6,943.42. That's going to be, if that was on a calendar year, that would be my Oakley annual bonus based on those miles. Remember, they give you in your first year 10 cents per mile for every loaded mile, and then it goes up a penny every year that you're there after that. So next year for me it'll be 11. Thank you, Oakley. I appreciate that. $6,943. Okay, so that's what that would be. So this is my year, basically, broken down for you guys. Okay, so paid miles, 100,000-ish, 100,250, 37,000 empty, 63,000 loaded. My actual miles were 112,475 going down. I used 16,776 gallons of fuel. I spent $70,503 on fuel and DEF combined. My maintenance costs were $33,351 for the year. Keeping in mind, again, that I had some anomalies that were in there. Okay, so technically that would probably have been about $25,000 to $24,000 for the year, which is what I estimated is right around $2,000 a month in maintenance. Gross for the year was $311,000. Net was $225,000 for an overall per mile on all miles of $277 gross and $210 net. And if you took my loaded miles at 0.11, my annual bonus would be roughly $6,943, even though, again, my anniversary is in August, so it's going to go to August. But either way, the average has come about right. I'm just hoping to not be as maintenance broke down as much, downtime, where I can generate some more miles, because I told you I should be 20,000 miles higher. So that means that loaded miles should probably be at about 71 or 75,000. Okay. I'm down about 10,000 miles to 12,000 miles for my bonus. So it does have an impact. And this is why I'm not taking my recruiting bonuses and separating them from everything, because they don't even add up close to what I've lost in revenue. So I'm just putting it all together and saying, you know what, it'll all average out. And this is still a very good average. And I think that if most of you men at Oakley run your numbers out, if you're operating, even just basically efficiently like I am, I'm not doing anything crazy or different than anybody else. This is what you're probably going to find you're pretty close to this. Okay, if you stayed steady and you stayed at it. And keeping in mind, guys, I've had a lot of downtime. I have. My gosh, I'm not complaining, but it's been I don't know if it's normal because I'm new to this. I don't know, guys. Maybe you could tell me, you guys that are here at Oakley, is it normal to have 6 to 8 weeks off a year in maintenance? I don't know that is, but it might be. And, whatever. Hey, I'm optimistic. I'm positive. That's cool. I deal with it and I press on. But anyhow, that's kind of where I've been. And again, just to let you guys know, I am in touch with dealerships looking to get out of this truck and get into a new one. Right now, great guy by the name of Colby. He's a Marine Semper Fi, Devil Dog. Yeah, Colby over at Hunter Peterbilt in Butler, Pennsylvania, is putting together some numbers for me on some trucks to see what we can come up with. If I can do something, I am. He has some 567s over there and some 389s that are in. Just to let you guys know, I was looking at 680s, T680s, and 579s, and Peterbilt 579s. But what I ran into, I just talked to Toby, our shop manager, yesterday. I called Oakley to talk to Teresa, who manages the install shop back there. She's great. Teresa, you're awesome. You do a very good job, and I really appreciate you. I wanted to ask about frame space. What exactly do I need between the tanks and the quarter fenders to put the blower in? You have to take that into account when you're buying a truck. And Toby happened to be back there, the overall shop manager at Oakley. And he said, "Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Toby, I'm glad you're back there, man." He's on speakerphone. And I said, he goes, "Well, what transmission's in these trucks?" I said, "Well, the one I'm looking at right now is the PACCAR Endurant 12-speed automatic." Because it's kind of hard to find manuals anymore. And he said, "You do realize that's about $6,000 to $8,000 to get all of the components, to get the PTO to mesh to that to work." What? Yeah, I said, "Holy smokes, man." He goes, "Yeah, it's expensive." I said, "Whew, guys, I pay that." I'm like, "Well, that pretty much solves that." He goes, "We can do it." No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not paying $6,000 to $8,000 just to buy parts to get a PTO to work. That truck, I'm not even going to entertain it. So those are off the board. Okay. Anything that I purchase is going to have a 13 or an 18 in it. I have a 10-speed manual now. So I've kind of shifted gears, no pun intended, on how I'm viewing this. Again, we're going to go back to a manual setup, something that's going to work for this application and what I need. And it looks likely that it's going to be something along the lines, if I can, of a Peterbilt 567 or a 389, which wasn't my original plan. It was completely different. I don't even know if I can do this or not. We got to get numbers to come together, and they may not even come close, which means I may be stuck with my truck for a while. And if I am, fine. Hey, what, God gave it to me. I'm happy. I feel blessed. I still feel blessed. It's cool. We're going to press on. But if I can get out of this and get into something with a full factory warranty and know that I can run steady for a few years, I'll be a happy camper. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm in the process of going through that, and we're just going to see what the good Lord provides to us, if anything, as far as a truck. So that's what I'm doing now. And if I can do that, especially here by the end of the month in January, by the time I sit down next year, Lord willing, still be healthy and being able to do this, when I lay these numbers out, as far as downtime and things like that, it'd be a really good comparison to see how things went. So I enjoy doing these for you guys. I hope you found value in it. Again, if you did find value in this, hit that like and subscribe button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're interested in Oakley, again, hit me up, jimmysroadlyfe, LYFE at gmail.com. I'd be happy to talk to you and help you out. Again, I'm going to request you, if you email me, send me your phone number because I want to give you a call. It's easier. I'm more of a chat guy. I'd rather talk to you. So anyhow, that being said, from the country in by Radisson in these dirty windows. You're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Okay, thanks for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I turned these around and show you my bed, but I didn't make my bed. It's a mess. It's a hotel. So anyhow, hey, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me this morning. Okay, thanks for going over my numbers with me. Okay, Jimmy with the white paper instead of the whiteboard. And hey, God bless you guys. Enjoy. Have a great New Year. Happy New Year. I hope you had a very good holiday season. And enjoy yourself. Be safe out there. Peace out. God bless.